Welcome to True Crime Stories for English Learners, where real-life mysteries meet clear and simple English.
The D.B. Cooper hijacking. It was the afternoon of November 24, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving in the United States. Many people were traveling home to see their families. Airports were busy, but the weather was calm. At Portland International Airport, a quiet man walked to the Northwest Orient Airlines desk. He looked like a normal businessman. He wore a dark suit, a white shirt, and a black tie. He carried a small black briefcase. He did not look nervous. He did not look dangerous. He asked for a one-way ticket to Seattle. The name he gave was Dan Cooper. He walked to the boarding gate and waited like everyone else. When the plane was ready, he stepped inside. The flight was short, only about 30 minutes. Nothing about him made people worry. No one on that plane knew that this man would become one of the most famous mysteries in American history. The flight was called Flight 305. It was a small Boeing 727 with only 36 passengers that day. 3 flight attendants and 2 pilots were working. The mood on the plane was relaxed. People read newspapers, talked quietly, or looked out the window. Everything felt normal. Cooper chose a seat near the back of the plane. He sat in seat 18C next to the aisle. He ordered a drink, bourbon and soda. He was polite and calm. He said please and thank you. Nobody paid special attention to him. At that time, airport security was very simple. There were no metal detectors. There were no bag checks. People walked directly to their flights. Because of this, Cooper could carry almost anything in his briefcase without anyone noticing. The flight attendants later said he was quiet but friendly. He seemed like a normal man in his mid-40s. Nothing about him seemed unusual, but that would soon change. A few minutes after takeoff, Cooper made his first move. He waited until the plane was in the air, and the no smoking sign turned off. Then he took a small folded note and gave it to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She thought it was just another man giving her his phone number. Many businessmen did that in those days, so she put the note into her pocket without reading it. Cooper leaned toward her and whispered, "Miss, you should read that note. I have a bomb." Florence slowly opened the note. The message was short and simple. Cooper said he had a bomb in his briefcase. He wanted $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. If the airline did not give him what he wanted, he would blow up the plane. The words were clear. There was no emotion. It was written like a simple business request. Florence tried to stay calm. She walked to the cockpit and gave the note to the pilots. The pilots contacted the airline and then the FBI. Everyone on the ground understood the danger. They had to do exactly what Cooper said. Florence returned to him. Cooper opened his briefcase just enough for her to look inside. She saw wires, red sticks, and something that looked like a battery. Was it real? Nobody knew, but it looked real enough. Cooper closed the briefcase quietly. Then he asked for more bourbon. He stayed calm, polite, and soft-spoken. He never raised his voice. He acted like a man making a normal business deal. The pilots made a plan with the FBI. The plane would land in Seattle, give Cooper what he wanted, and let the other passengers go. The FBI prepared the money and parachutes. Workers in Seattle quickly collected 10,000 $20 bills. They put them in a special bag for easy carrying. The money was marked and photographed so the FBI could follow it later. Inside the plane, Cooper stayed calm. He smoked cigarettes, drank his bourbon, and talked politely to the flight attendants. He did not hurt anyone. He did not shout. He did not touch anyone. He simply waited. The passengers had no idea what was happening. They thought there was a small mechanical problem or a delay. No one was scared. No one knew they were in the middle of a hijacking. After 2 hours, Flight 305 landed in Seattle. It stopped far away from the main terminal. Trucks and police cars waited at a distance. The FBI placed the money and parachutes near the stairs. Cooper watched everything carefully. He told the pilot what to do and when to open the door. The flight attendants brought the money inside. Cooper looked at the cash quickly and nodded. He did not count it. He did not check every bill. He simply said it was fine. Then he allowed the passengers to leave the plane. All 36 walked out safely. After that, 2 flight attendants also left. Only Cooper, 1 flight attendant, and the 2 pilots stayed on the plane. Now the plane was quiet and empty. The first part of his plan was complete. After the passengers left, the mood on the plane changed. The aircraft was now quiet, almost empty, and a little dark. Only 1 flight attendant, Tina Mucklow, stayed with Cooper. The pilots waited in the cockpit with the door open. Cooper gave new instructions. He wanted the plane to fly to Mexico City, but with very specific rules. Fly low, no higher than 10,000 feet. Fly slow, about 200 miles per hour. Keep the landing gear down. Keep the cabin unpressurized, and keep the rear staircase ready. The pilots were surprised. These were unusual requests. Flying that low and that slow was not normal for a Boeing 727, but they followed every order. They knew the FBI wanted Cooper calm and cooperative. Nobody wanted to risk lives. Fuel trucks came, and the plane was refueled. The process took longer than expected, almost 2 hours. Cooper stayed calm the whole time. He did not show fear or stress. He simply waited, drank more bourbon, and spoke politely to Tina. Finally, just after 7:40 p.m., the plane took off again. It was dark outside. Rain and strong winds hit the windows. The weather was stormy. The sky was black and rough. The pilots turned the plane south toward Mexico. But Cooper had something very different in mind. About 20 minutes after takeoff, Cooper asked Tina to show him how to open the rear staircase. The Boeing 727 had a special door at the back that opened downward. This feature made the plane unique at the time. Tina was nervous, but explained how it worked. Cooper listened carefully. Then he asked her to go to the cockpit and not come out again. He said she must close the curtain and stay with the pilots. He was calm but firm. She followed his order. At 8:05 p.m., a light on the pilot's panel showed the rear staircase was open. The pilots looked at each other. It was happening. Cooper was preparing to jump. At 8:13 p.m., the plane suddenly moved upward. It felt like someone had pushed hard against the back of the aircraft. The pilots later said it felt like a sudden pressure change. They believed this was the exact moment when D.B. Cooper jumped from the plane. He jumped into freezing rain, strong winds, and total darkness. He jumped with the money bag tied to his body. He jumped from a height of about 10,000 feet. No one knew if he survived. No one saw him fall. He simply disappeared into the night. When the plane landed in Reno, Nevada, Cooper was gone. The rear staircase was still open. The money was missing. And the man called Dan Cooper had vanished. The FBI started one of the largest searches in U.S. history. Officers, soldiers, helicopters, and volunteers searched the huge forest area where Cooper might have landed. The land was rough and thick with tall trees. There were rivers, rocks, and steep hills. The search area was more than several square miles, but they found nothing. No parachute, No clothing, no body, no money, no equipment. There were no clear footprints, no broken branches, no signs of a landing. It was like Cooper had simply disappeared into thin air. The FBI also studied hundreds of suspects. Many people across the country were interviewed. Some men looked similar. Some men had the right skills. Some had criminal backgrounds. But there was never enough proof to say, this is D.B. Cooper. Only one small clue appeared many years later. In 1980, 9 years after the hijacking, a young boy named Brian Ingram found something while playing near the Columbia River in Washington. He found old, wet, damaged $20 bills buried in the sand. The numbers on the bills matched the money given to Cooper. It was about $5,800. The FBI was excited, but confused. Why were only a few bills found? Why were they in that place? Did Cooper lose them? Did they float downstream? Or did someone put them there on purpose? No one knew. This clue only made the mystery deeper. Over the years, many theories appeared. Cooper died in the jump. Cooper lived and escaped to another country. Cooper hid in the forest and walked out days later. Cooper buried the money somewhere. Cooper was someone famous. Cooper was someone nobody expected. But none of these theories were proven. The FBI continued the case for decades. They studied new clues, interviewed new people, and tested new ideas. Finally, in 2016, the FBI officially closed the active investigation. They said they had no strong suspects left. Cooper's true identity remains unknown. His body was never found. Most of the money was never recovered. The mystery stayed alive. Even though the crime happened in 1971, people still talk about it today. Books, movies, documentaries, and podcasts explore the story. Many people try to solve the mystery on their own. Some believe Cooper was a skilled parachuter. Others believe he had military training. Others think he simply got lucky. The case also changed air travel forever. Airlines added new security systems. Airplane doors were redesigned so stairs could not open mid-flight. Airports added metal detectors and bag checks. The hijacking of Flight 305 became one reason why security became stricter in the 1970s and 1980s. Even today, the name D.B. Cooper is famous. It represents mystery, courage, danger, and clever planning. He is the only person in U.S. history to hijack a plane, take ransom money, and disappear without a trace. Imagine the night sky in 1971. Cold rain, strong wind, and complete darkness. A man jumps from a moving airplane, carrying a bag of money. Below him is a huge forest, miles of trees and rivers. He falls through the black sky. He feels the cold air across his face. He pulls the parachute cord, and then nothing. Only silence. No one ever saw him again. No one ever heard from him. He became a legend, a man who walked into an airport like a normal traveler and vanished like a ghost. This is the story of D.B. Cooper, the mystery that America never solved.
Another dark chapter closed, but the mystery of human nature continues. Thanks for listening to True Crime Stories for English Learners. Don't forget to subscribe and join me next time for another real story that's stranger than fiction.